Okay, let's start our science class for today. Eating habits of animals. Habits يعني عادات يعني عادات الأكل بالحيوانات. يعني الحيوان شلون يتعود ياكل. What do animals eat? This week, you will study the eating habits of animals in your area. You will journal your observation about one kind of animal and draw a picture about what you discover. See, Rose, if you have animals, maybe birds or anything near your house now, try to observe. Remember what observe means؟ يعني تراقبين تشوفين عم تتعلمين. شوفي شلون ياكل، شلون شو وقت ياكل من الشباك إذا تقدرين تشوفين عصافير أو بزازين. Okay, this activity is the homework. We will come to it after we finish the lesson. What did you discover about animals? The best way to understand animal behavior يعني تصرفاته. يعني when I tell you Rose behave nicely يعني صيري زينة, is to observe it in person. Go to a local zoo, an animal sanctuary, a park, or your backyard and watch the animals that you see there. Take your journal with you so you can record your observation. Observing animal activity. Okay, this is again, it tells you يعني إذا تريدين تشوفين تراقبين عم تتعلمين شلون عادات الأكل بالحيوان لازم تتفرجين عليه. تاخذين وياك بوك صغير عم تكتبين ملاحظات يعني مثلا شفت البزولة تاكل ماوس فتكتبين شفتها تاكل الصبح. هاي بس يعلمك شلون how to observe animals and learn how they eat. Okay, we have a video here. Let's watch it together. واشرح لك إياه شلون. Then we will answer some questions. So here it says animals in winter.
There's something very strange about winter. It's so quiet. But you know that in a few months this forest will be teeming with activity. So where do all the creatures go in the winter? And how do they manage to survive out here in the cold? Well, if you want to survive a cold winter, you've only got a few choices. So if you're a bird and you can fly long distances, then migrating makes sense.
So, and when the winter is very cold, what do they, what do birds do to survive the cold weather؟ يعني كلش باردة شلون يعيشون بالبرد؟ هنا شي يقول لك they can migrate long distance. يعني شنو migrate؟ يعني هاجر. شنو يعني هاجر؟ يعني يسافر من مكان لمكان. يعني إذا اليوم هسه تصير كلش باردة هنا، الطير يقدر يطير، يروح يطير مسافة بعيدة، يروح على مكان دافي. migrate يهاجر.
But if you're stuck on the ground, then migrating is often not the best solution. So if you can't leave, then what choices are left? Well, for most animals, the biggest problem with winter is the lack of food. The trees
اوكي، شنو أكبر مشكلة بالوينتر للحيوانات؟ lack of food means ماكو أكل. يعني بالشتاء تشوفين كله ثلج أو الشجر ما بيها فواكه وخضروات على الشجرة، فالحيوانات ما يشوفون أكل. هاي أكبر صعوبة عندهم بالشتاء.
have all lost their leaves, the fruits and berries have long since disappeared, and most of the other vegetation is frozen solid. So why not just forget the whole thing and just sleep through the winter? Hibernate, as it's called. First of all, if you're going to hibernate, then you can't waste away the summer and fall enjoying yourself. No, instead you'll have to eat. And eat.
Okay, some animals hibernate. What does hibernation mean? hibernation يعني ينام مدة طويلة، ينام الشتاء كله. hibernation سبات، يعني ينام كل الشتاء. الصيف ياكل، شوف هذا الدب شلون دا ياكل، بعدين بالشتاء لما يجي ينام طول الشتاء هو نايم.
And eat. You see, hibernating animals have to use the nice weather to build up their fat reserves. Because once winter arrives, this stored fat becomes their main source of fuel. Now, the best way to make sure your fat reserves last all winter is to reduce your energy requirements. So when animals go into hibernation, they have to slow everything down. They drop their heart rate, their breathing rate. Some hibernators can even drop their body temperature by 30 or 40 degrees. And this huge drop in metabolic activity can reduce their energy needs by 90%. So if you can't migrate and you can't hibernate, then there's only one choice left.
So far what we learned, how do animals survive winter? First, if they can fly, they migrate, means they travel long distances. Some animals like birds, they hibernate, means they will sleep throughout the winter. How do they do that? They eat lots of food and become fat in summer, then they sleep in winter to survive. So let's learn what other animals do.
You're gonna have to face winter head on. But hey, no big deal, we do it all the time. Just put on a little extra insulation and you're set. We think of snow as cold and wet, but when it piles up on the ground, it's an excellent insulator of heat. And that's exactly how many animals that don't hibernate survive the winter. They huddle together in underground burrows or in nests built right under the snowpack. Here's another aspect of winter we're not too fond of. Ice.
Okay.
Exactly how to survive the
Some animals, you see what they do? Ice, هذا الثلج snow يعزل الحرارة. شنو يعني يعزل الحرارة؟ يعني مثل الغطا. يعني هذا السكويرل يحفر، الفار هذا السنجاب يحفر جوا القاع ويسوي بيت هنا. هسا هذا البيت ليش يدفى؟ شايفة طبقة الثلج هاي السنو؟ هاي تصير مثل غطا، ما تخلي البرد ينزل جوا القاع، فهم يحفرون جوا عمو يتدفون هنا.
They huddle together in underground burrows or in nests built right under the snowpack. Here's another aspect of winter we're not too fond of. Ice. You ever wonder why it floats? As water cools, the molecules move closer and closer together, which causes the liquid to become more dense. But a strange thing happens when water freezes into ice. As it crystallizes, large gaps form between the molecules. This causes the ice to expand and become less dense, so it floats. Now, if ice didn't float, then as it formed at the surface, it would sink to the bottom, which means lakes would freeze from the bottom up. And that would mean the end for all those creatures who spend their winters in the lake. That includes creatures like the frogs and the turtles that survive the winter by burrowing into the mud at the bottom of the lake. And of course, there's also the fish who remain in the cold water underneath the ice cap all winter long. Whew. Now, luckily, humans don't have to spend the winter outside because, let's face it, when it comes to winter survival, we're not designed very well. But that's okay because we got the big brain. So when it turns cold outside, we just turn on my favorite piece of human technology, the furnace.
So, what do humans do in winter? We have houses, we can stay inside, and اكو شيء اسمه heater. يعني بدال المكيف يعطي هواء بارد يعطيك هواء حار. So we can survive.
Oh no!
Okay, so So let's answer this question. How do animals survive when they hibernate? Do you remember what hibernation is? Like when they sleep all winter. They eat lots of food during the spring and summer and slow their heart rate way down during hibernation. Okay, some animals يعني شايفة دقات القلب. So how do they hibernate؟ بالصيف وبالسبرينج ياكلون هواية ويسمنون. لما يجي الشتاء ينامون وشايفة your heart beat right؟ قلبك مو يدق. مرات لما تركضين يدق بسرعة، مرات لما ترتاحين يبطل يدق بسرعة. هسه كل ما القلب يدق بسرعة انت تحتاجين اكل زيادة وطاقة زيادة لان تصرفين طاقة. بس اكو حيوانات لما يجي الشتاء عمود الاكل اللي اكله بالصيف يظل وما يخسر او يموت، يقلل دقات قلبه، يبطئهم يصيرون بطيئين على مود يقدر يعيش اكثر بالشتاء لان ماكو اكل بالشتاء، فيصرف طاقة اقل ويعيش. Okay, seasonal behavior. Seasonal, you know what seasonal is. We have 4 seasons. You know them. صيف شتاء spring وما أعرف. المهم the 4 seasons. Autumn, spring, winter and summer. Some animal behavior is affected by the season. For example, an animal may struggle to find food during winter time, or it may be preparing to hibernate during warmer seasons. Some animals look for mates. You can explore more about how animals you choose to observe and behavior differently depending. Okay, so here in short, it tells you each animal is different and they change their behavior يعني شلون يتصرفون depending on the season. For example, some animals will hibernate in winter, some will migrate in winter, some will find يعني يتزوجون بالصيف. Okay, so their behavior changes based on the season. Okay, let's go to the homework of science. Okay, so in here, choose an animal that you have observed. Draw يعني ارسمي الحيوان وشنو ياكل هنا. أي حيوان انت اختاريتي ارسميه هنا وشنو ياكل. Okay, then we will answer only 2 questions. Okay. What does your animal eat and how does he find it? So the first question, the animal you chose, write what does it eat and how does he find it. يعني شنو ياكل وشلون يشوف الأكل برا، يعني من غير ما احنا نعطيه. إذا هو مثلا بالحديقة بالغابة شنو ياكل وشلون يشوف الأكل ماله. يعني for example, if you write cow, so cow eats grass, right? And how does it and how it will find the grass? It will just run in the garden or يعني برا ياكل حشيش برا. But you choose something else, not a cow, because I already told you cow. How does he get food in winter? So the animal you chose شلون يشوف الأكل بالشتاء. Okay, for example, if you chose a bear, دب, well, he doesn't eat in winter, or maybe he will eat fish from the lake. Okay, so based on your animal, you have to answer this question, the animal you will draw here. It's a very easy homework. Okay, that's it for science today.